Good afternoon and welcome to the Falcon Basketball Pregame Show. I'm your host, Andrew Halkowski, and today I'm joined by Grady Lautenslager. Today we're previewing the highly anticipated Battle of I-75 rivalry between Bowling Green and Toledo. But before we get into that, let's take a look at how both these squads performed the last time they took the court. Now, obviously Toledo was coming off that 60-52 win on the road over UMass. Grady, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that one.
Well, one thing that stood out to me was the 15 turnovers Toledo had as a team. And aside from that, they only shot 35% from three, going 7 for 20, alongside 42.2% from the field, going 19 for 45 total. Free throw percentage was a little bit better at 71.4, but it's going to be hard to have high-scoring games when you're giving up 15 turnovers.
Yeah, I think they also need to work on their shooting in general. It's just not the best performance offensively. I think they did have a pretty strong defense, but now shifting over to how Bowling Green did, they took down Western Michigan 67-63 at home in the Stro. What are your thoughts on that one, Grady?
I thought it was a well-played game. It went down to the wire, back and forth the whole time. One thing that stood out to me is BG went 22 from 60 from the field. A shocking 36.6%. They've been struggling from there. Three-point wasn't much better, 31.5%. And free throws were a lot better, though, at 80.9%.
Yeah, we really saw both these teams struggle shooting the basketball, but BG did have multiple points off of those turnovers that they forced. Now, let's get a look now at how the Falcons and Rockets compare stat-wise going into today's game. Nate and Marisol are here with a comparison of both teams. How are you guys doing?
Hey, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, we are both excited for today's game, but first we're comparing both teams statistically, starting with the Falcons. This season, Bowling Green is averaging more points per game than Toledo. The Falcons are putting up 70.3 points per game compared to Toledo's 65.8. BG's offense is led by Paige Kohler, who's averaging 14.6 points per game, followed by Janaea Donahue at 11.5. Meanwhile, Toledo's top three scorers are each averaging 11.7 points per game, showing a bit of a more balanced attack. Donahue also leads in playmaking and defense, averaging 3.8 assists and 4.1 steals per game, both marks well above her teammates and the Rockets. Marisol?
Meanwhile, the Rockets come in with an edge in their standings. They're 14-10 overall compared to the Orange and Brown's 14-12 record. In the MAC, Toledo is currently sitting at 6th in the rankings, while Bowling Green is 8th. Defensively, the Rockets also have the advantage, allowing 62.9 points per game compared to the Falcons' 66.4. So statistically, Toledo features the stronger defense and more balanced scoring with multiple contributors.
Yeah, and for the Falcons, they bring a higher scoring offense and a clear go-to scorer, making it possibly a pretty interesting match we got coming up this afternoon. Andrew?
Of the Battle of I-75. Including the rivalry's most recent matchup earlier this season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. As we prepare for the game, let's see what happened last time these two teams met. In the last Battle of I-75 between the two in Toledo, they came out victorious over the Falcons, 59-49. Just give me your thoughts and feelings about that game.
Well, despite the loss, Donahue shined with 19 points and 3 rebounds away from having a double-double on the night. So stellar performance from her. Unfortunately, the rest of the team wasn't around her. However, BG struggled again shooting 0.273 from the field and 0.238 from three. They did have 10 steals. Luckily, the game was so close because Toledo had a total of 25 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, just a bit of a struggle for the Falcons there. But really, overall, especially in recent years, Toledo has kind of been dominating this matchup. The Falcons have lost 8 of the last 10 against the Rockets. The Falcons do lead the series, but just by one game, 46-45. The Falcons do have a bit of an advantage in this Stro. They're 26-16. How do you think that'll play a factor into today's game?
I think it'll play a big factor. The Stro's a big environment. This is a game that all fans have marked on their calendar for the whole year. This is a game that it's come down to, and I mean, like you said, they're 26-16 at home, so the record favors them, and I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I think so too. But before we take our next break, we have a trivia question for you. Who is the only Bowling Green Falcon who was ever selected as an undrafted free agent in the WNBA? We'll give you a few minutes to think about that, and after the break, we have impact players to talk about and keys to the game for both sides. Stay tuned.
Dear moms and dads, we know it's not always been easy, and it's been a lot of hard work. What you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
Everything I do it for you.
Mom, love you always.
No, it's true. Everything I do it for
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Welcome back to the Falcon Basketball Pregame Show. Let's go over a couple of impact players for both teams ahead of this Battle of I-75 matchup. Let's start with the Toledo side of things. Our first impact player, number 2 guard, Faith Fed Robinson. This season, she's averaged 11.7 points per game, 2.3 assists, and 7 rebounds.
On top of that, she's going .482 from the field. And last time she played BG earlier this year, she didn't do as good, except for the 15 rebounds she had. So she's all over. She's been their biggest rebounder all year. She's been their go-to defensively, getting second chance offensive points. She's one of their key players.
Yeah, really any defensive momentum goes through her. The second impact player for Toledo wears number 8. That's Patricia Anumba. This season, she has also averaged 11.7 points per game, 2 assists, and 2.8 rebounds.
And she's gone .351 from 3, 1.7 steals per game, and against BG earlier this year, she had 13 points, 1 assist, and 6 rebounds. Last game off UMass, she had 22 points, 4 for 7 from 3, and she had 7 steals.
Yeah, I mean, really just their most reliable scorer by far. That's an insane game. Now, looking at the Bowling Green side of things, I believe we've mentioned her name before, but Jonea Donahue is the first impact player for the Falcons. She averages 11.5 points per game, 3.8 assists, and 5.1 rebounds.
Yeah, she's a stellar player all around. One key thing that stands out to her is she is ranked 3rd in the nation right now in steals per game. She's sitting at 4.1. She's a great defender. She shoots .404 from the field, and she had 19 points, 3 assists, and 7 rebounds the last time she played Toledo.
Yeah, after that fantastic defender, let's look at a really good offensive piece for this Bowling Green team, Paige Kohler. She's averaged 14.6 points per game. That leads the team, 3.1 assists, and 3.8 rebounds.
And, I mean, she's a consistent shooter. This is a team that struggled shooting the ball this season, but if somebody has done a good job, it has been her. Last time against Toledo, she had 12 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds, making stats on each category, and she's a big contributor.
Let's go back now to Nate and Marisol for their Falcon 4's Keys to the Game.
Andrew, yeah, it's time now for our Falcon 4 keys to the game.
Yes, we've got 2 for the Rockets and then 2 for the Falcons. Let's start with the keys for Toledo. First, create more offensive opportunities. The Rockets need to push the tempo and turn defense into offense. They've been effective at forcing turnovers and crashing the offensive glass, which leads to the second chance points. But against Bowling Green, they can't rely on rebounds alone. They need to speed this game up, attack early in transition, and be aggressive from the opening tip. Second, defend the three-point line. Limiting BG's perimeter shooting is critical. That means no late contests and no unnecessary fouls. The Rockets need to force the Falcons into tough, contested mid-range shots and take away clean looks from deep. If they can disrupt that rhythm, they can control the pace.
Yeah, thanks. And now going to the keys for Bowling Green. Win the turnover battle. In their last meeting, Toledo committed 10 more turnovers than BG, 25-15. If the Falcons can protect the ball, keep those minutes low, and turn Rocket turnovers into points, it will help them establish their offensive rhythm. Second, take smarter shots. BG needs to look for open three-pointers instead of forcing contested ones. Better shot selection will be key, and if it doesn't stop there, rebounding will make a huge difference. Securing boards and capitalizing on second chance opportunities could swing the momentum in their favor.
And those are the 4 keys to the game. Andrew?
Thank you, guys. Next up, we'll look at some other upcoming MAC basketball matchups and predict which teams will be coming out on top. Also coming up, the answer to today's trivia question: who was the only Falcon ever selected as an undrafted free agent in the WNBA? Stay with us.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back. But before we get into our game picks for today, here's the moment I'm sure we've all been waiting for. The answer to today's trivia question: name the only Falcon ever selected as an undrafted free agent in the WNBA. And the answer is Lauren Prochaska from the Seattle Storm in 2011.
And she was an absolute workhorse for BGSU. She's our all-time leading scorer here with 2,290 points, and she's a member of the Ohio Basketball Hall of Fame.
Going into another weekend of MAC basketball, let's look at the standings and make some of our picks.
Well, looking at the standings, Ball State and Miami are head-and-head. Ball State a game on top of Miami. UMass a little below them by 2, and CMU is also there fighting. Middle of the pack, you got Ohio and Toledo, as well as Kent State and Bowling Green, all sitting around the 9-win to 6-win range. And then to finish off the conference, you got Eastern Michigan and Akron, along with Western Michigan and Northern Illinois. And unfortunately, Buffalo is still yet to win a game.
Rough for them. They've lost 17 in a row now?
Yes, they have.
Yikes. Well, let's get into our picks for today. The first game we'll be making selections on is the Kent State versus Akron game. These two teams have met earlier this year, in which Kent State won 91-79. Personally, I've got Kent State to win again and complete the series sweep.
Additionally, I do too. Like I said, they were dominant, almost a 20-point victory. And anytime a team can score 91 points in a college basketball game, they're going to succeed.
Nate, Marisol, what are you guys feeling for this one?
Yeah, so for me, I'm picking Kent State, mainly because last week we saw them play BG, and they played pretty well against BG last week. But yeah, it should be a pretty good game between them and Akron, both rivals, of course. But I'm going with Kent State for that.
Yeah, and I'm also going with Kent State. M. Babbitt has the higher point average of 16.5, so I'm just going to pick Kent State for this one.
The next game we'll be previewing here, Ball State versus Miami. This is by far the biggest game of the weekend, if you exclude the Battle of I-75, of course. These two teams are ranked 1 and 2 in the conference. They did meet earlier this year, and Miami came out victorious, 72-52. But personally, I've got Ball State to get their get back, and take them down. They average 79.3 points per game. They shoot 47% from the field. I think they're just a really good team.
I'm going to have to go with Miami here. Both teams have been rolling. Both teams have been going good. But Miami's fighting for a conference tie for leading the division. So I think they're going to be all in on getting this win here tonight.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Grady on this one. Miami, of course, is a strong team, second in the MAC, and they're also at home, so it should be kind of a home court advantage.
I'm going to have to disagree. I went with Ball State on this one. They are on a 5-game winning streak, and I think that morale can keep them going and win this game.
The next game we've got previewing here, we've got UMass playing Central Michigan. These two teams also met earlier this year, with UMass coming out just by a 2-point victory, 74-72, and UMass is also above them in the conference standings. And personally, I'm going to go with UMass. I think they've got the better defense. They average 3.5 blocks per game, and they average 10.1 steals. They're just doing everything right to win games on the defensive side.
I'm going to have to go with Central Michigan. It was a 2-point loss to them the last time they took the court against this team. However, it is in their own court. They're the home team this week. I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah, Grady, once again, got to agree with you on this one. I'm going with Central Michigan. It is 3rd in the MAC versus 4th in the MAC, so I'm going with the 4th team, but they are at home this week, and they've done pretty well at home this season.
And I actually went with UMass on this one. Me and Andrew are kind of locked in on that. And I think that the top 3 players on this team average over 12 points per game. And I think it's going to be a pretty close game, though.
All right, and the next game that we're going to be previewing here is Northern Illinois taking on Western Michigan. Once again, these two teams have met earlier this year, with Northern Illinois coming out victorious 64-56. Personally, I've got Western Michigan taking them down in this one. I think they've got the better defense. They're really good with assists at 12.1 per game, 2.2 blocks per game, and 5.8 steals per game.
I'm also going with Western Michigan. They did come off a loss to BG Wednesday, but they played well. It came down to the wire, and I think they're going to continue that good play and get it done here.
Yeah, and I'm also going with Western, too. You know, they're slightly above Northern Illinois, and I think we'll see some action. Maybe see if we can get Western above Northern Illinois this week, you know, get back after that game earlier on this season.
Yep, and I also have to go with Western Michigan. Like you said, they do have a little bit of a better record, and they do have a higher rebound average throughout the whole team, ranging from 5.3 to 4.2.
And the second to last game that we'll be previewing here is Buffalo and Eastern Michigan. These two teams met earlier this year, like everybody else so far, and with Eastern Michigan coming out on top, 71-51. Buffalo has really been struggling. They're 0-13 in the conference, and they've lost 17 straight, and because of that, I've got Eastern Michigan taking them down.
Also, because of that, I have Buffalo winning. No team's going to want to lose 18 straight games. I think there's fire under their fuel right now. There's 3 games left in the season, and they're going to have to win some if they want anything to come out of this season with their heads high.
Grady, I have to disagree with you on this one. I think there's no chance Buffalo gets it.
No.
They have like 2 wins on the record this season. I believe one was against like a Division II, Division III team. So I gotta go with Eastern Michigan as an easy one on this one for me.
Yep, me too. I'm going to go Eastern Michigan. I mean, their top player, Sissy Elko, averages 17.9 points per game, and I think if they just give her the ball, they're going to win this real easy.
And of course, the final game that we'll be previewing today, we've been building up to it all show, Toledo versus Bowling Green in the Battle of I-75. And for me, I'm going to pick Bowling Green to get it done. Like Nate mentioned earlier, they average 70.3 points per game. They also are really good with rebounds, 36.7 rebounds per game, 4.1 blocks, and 11.8 steals. Those are all, huge factors when it comes to winning a basketball game.
I'm also going to go with BG, and one thing that sticks out to me is the crowd atmosphere. They're 26-16 when playing Toledo at home recently, and I think that's just going to continue, and everyone's ready for this, and I think they're as ready too.
Yeah, I'm going with BG as well. You know, we saw it with the men's Battle of I-75. They lost in Toledo, come back, and beat Toledo and Bowling Green, and I think the women's team will follow this weekend.
Yep, and I also picked BG. They also do have a good home record, and I think it's going to be another close game. It's going to come down to being technical.
All right, and that's all we have today for the Falcon Basketball pregame show. Thank you for joining me, Grady. It was a fun time here today.
Yes, it was.
This Battle of I-75 will tip off at 2 p.m. in the Stroh Center. From all of us here, thanks for watching and enjoy your weekend.
Isaac Zumba.